I am putting on the table at stake my honor, my life, and the presidency. Period. Countrymen. Unahin ko muna yung felicitations, my warmest greetings to the command, to the presidential wing. Salamat po sa serbisyo ninyo sa akin ngayon at nung noon. When I was mayor, of course, it was the CASAP. Malaki pong utang na loob ko sa Air Force for the mobility that they provided me during the years of my service to the government. That would have been about 40 years hence. Pangalawa po, wala masyado akong pera ngayon, but I am approving the extension of the pilots' quarters. It's about 2 million plus. I'm giving it to you right away. The repair of the EP barracks, it's about 900 plus. Maibigay ko po yan. Pati yung repair ng rotary door railings, which is about 4 million. That's about 700 million. Medyo hindi mabigat yan. And I'd like you to know that I'm not trying to earn gratitude here. I'm just trying to say that yung bata-bata ninyo sa Malacanang, I went to the medical center of the AFP. Well, of course, there were things which... but anyway, I gave you $500 million. CT scan, hindi na CT scan, MRI. Pati a new building to replace the original one. But I said you can always refurbish the building, sayang eh. But entirely new one and a lot of machines, yung gamma rays, X-ray, and of course yung para sa orthopedics. All in all, I give you almost $500 million, and I hope that it would improve the services to the soldiers. I'm quite not comfortable with the arrangement now that ang army kung magpunta sa Air Force at doon magbayad pa, and the Air Force in the field, and it's the expense of the army for whatever reason, for any event, magbayad na naman ang air, you have to pay interbranch. I'd like just to give you one service command para sa lahat. It would expedite matters and centralize everything. And I want to deal for the next 6 years, in the coming years, kung buhay pa ako, to just deal with one person for the entire needs. Medical service for the entire, pati na police. Kasi kawawa naman sila kung i-separate mo. Then we can have an improved Vilona hospital also. I will try to give you the things that you need, and especially going down to the arms. It's about time that we talk seriously about our sovereignty. We are not going to cut our umbilical cord with the countries that we are allied now. But itong modernization, mayor pa po ako, and this started about many years ago when Bonifacio was sold with a commitment that it should be used to modernize the armed forces of the Philippines. In the coming decades, there would no longer be a worry about a world war. Kasi po, if you dwell on another third world war, that is effectively ending the planet Earth, or it will no longer be a very habitable place to live should you unleash all your nuclear bombs. So it could only be a result of a grave and serious miscalculation. That's the problem always. It's miscalculation. But I see in the horizon the dark clouds of terrorism. You have to, just from a civilian, kasi hindi na ako, don't look at me as a president, just as a civilian giving a piece of advice. The horror that we are facing in the coming days would really be terrorism and drugs. Ito namang druga, I have been at the receiving end, and you know that. It could be, well, funny to look at. Sometimes you ponder on how we should conduct our foreign policy. You know, we are not just, we could never be just a small country and to be shouted at or lectured upon by any foreign country or by any president. And so, when they were talking about human rights, I authorized the release of all the pictures of the horror that the Philippines suffered under the Spaniards and the Americans. And for the years that they sat on this country and took care, got it all, the fat of the land for so many years, for 100 years. So I said to myself early on that this cannot continue. And I would have to address, if it's human right problem, then we must discuss the entire gamot I dimension of. And so nandyan ngayon sa Facebook, yung massacre everywhere. Balingiga, sa Samar, that was the time that 10 years old and above were massacred by the Americans and got the bell, and until now, they hijack it, stole it, and never returned it to us. It's a sentimental value that is really attached. It is the massacre that happened to the Filipinos in Samar. Take a note about that in the chapters of our history. Cannot be forever shouted at and lectured upon. Not me. As I have said, in my quest for what is right for my country, I am putting on the table at stake my honor, my life, and the presidency. Period. I can be ousted anytime, walang problema. Congress can initiate. Basta ako nakapokus lang, I promise the people that I will give you a clean government, and it will be clean as it could ever be. I promise you that I'd get rid of the drug problem, because if I don't interdict the drug problem, it will compromise the next generation of Filipinos, given the numbers who are now addicted. PDEA said 3 years ago that it was at 3 million. Now recently, if you count by the numbers of those who surrendered, gave themselves to the authorities, it's 700. Just maintain that number, no incremental increase. We have a 3,700,000 addicts in this country. That number is not a joke. I had a talk with Dodo. He has 4 million. And that is why, napag-usapan lang naman, Pag sabi namin na we will implement the laws, I told them, hindi ko na hinintay. I said, Mr. President, so as not for him to apologize or anything, said, Mr. President, I have my laws here. It's good that you have the death penalty here, because at least you can bring it down to the barest minimum. I said, go ahead and implement the law. We never mentioned about the laws. Sinabi ko lang, we will respect the judgments of your courts. Period. It would have been a bad taste in the mouth to be talking about having a strong posture against drugs, and here you are begging for something. I'm sorry. I have nothing to apologize because, the law is the law. But then, again, nothing to say I'm sorry for, but the circumstances would not allow me to wander to another field of our talks. We're talking about terrorism, and we also agreed to, I would allow you, the Philippine Navy, and the Air Force, and the Coast Guard to pursue the pirates. Because in this jurisdiction, we follow that piracy is a crime against humanity. And we agreed that even if you pursue in hot pursuit the criminals and you cross your border, you just announce it today that you're entering because you are pursuing a drug poser or a drug criminal syndicate. And they would take over the chase. But we also agreed that if anything happens during the chase and there's a confrontation, we agreed that we can use force.